welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C, all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, here with another amazing guest for you to add some value and pour into us today. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about our sponsors and give them a shout out. This would not happen without the Connected Leaders Academy, and that is by Jose Escobar. Also, our Breathe Capital Planning, Julie and Noah, as well as Patrick Rude with Rude Financial Services and the Dirty Little Secret Society. So thank you guys so much for your continued support. And if you want to know about our sponsors and what we have going on at Bomb Global, you definitely want to visit our website at www.buildingaleadershipmindset.com. A few announcements. We have our 1-year anniversary for Ladies of Leadership coming up. Yes, 1 year. I can't believe it. Has been an amazing year of just empowering and inspiring women to take actions in their life and provide and equip them with the proper tools, as well as just a sisterhood that we have formed. And our She Leads retreat is coming up August of next year. We have our first Make It Count award that we celebrated at our last Radiance virtual event, where we showcased one of our ladies who have been doing an amazing amount of just personal growth and building and coming into her own. And that was Ivy Perez. You definitely want to check out our YouTube channel and check her interview with the unboxing of the first Make It Count award. With all that being said, we have the also always brought to you by popular demand, our online business mindset mania, where we take 4 virtual events a year each quarter and energize you, recharge you, help you with dominating each area of your life. So that's coming up November 18th. More information on that, you can find it on our website. So let's get to it. We have the amazing Judith Diaz today. I met her at the Spiritual Fitness Survivor through the AMA community with Emilio and Daniela Roman. She is an absolute when I connected with her, we did this connection circle, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let me introduce to who she is. She is a dynamic and passionate individual who has dedicated her life to guiding and empowering others on their personal journeys. At 41 years old, Judith brings a wealth of experience and knowledge as a certified life coach with over 6 years of practice. Specializing in empowerment coaching, Judith has positively impacted the lives of many individuals from diverse backgrounds. Her compassionate nature, innate ability to connect with people of all ages have allowed her to work with both the elderly and the youth, leaving a lasting impression on each person she encounters. In addition to her coaching expertise, Judith is also a published author with her book, Finding My Way Back to Gigi. Delves into her own personal journey of self-discovery and services as inspiring testament to the power of resilience and growth. This heartfelt memoir has touched the lives of many and has resonated with readers seeking their own path towards self-fulfillment. Get ready to embark on an incredible journey of self-discovery and empowerment with Judith Diaz as your guide. Together, you can unlock the door to a brighter and more fulfilling future. Without further ado, let's bring on Judith. Welcome to the stage. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. That was a lot. How amazing. I just love your story. But before we get into that, just talk to us about the AMA and the Spiritual Fitness Survivor event that we had back in August. And what were your takeaways from there and meeting some of the authors and that community as a whole?
Well, I've never been in a community at all. So that was a big thing. Definitely the AMA community it's like a friendship. It's like family. But what I what was mind blowing to me, what captivated me was the receiving circle. I've never in my life experienced being surrounded by people that you don't know personally, right? We're just all there for the same reason. We're all authors, we all have inspiring stories, we all have our own journey, right? But to have a circle where every individual tells you something inspiring about yourself, not knowing what that person's going through, that to me was mind blowing, because that is what I see. That is my, like, the mission I see. Like, there's no competition, there's nothing. We're just there united as one. And I think, and like Latino said, en la fuerza está, como en la unión está la fuerza, and the unity is where the strength lies. And I feel that the more people are in the same page, in the same vibe, and that same energy, we could change. We can make a change. We can make an impact. And that, I mean, to me, it's like, I carry it, okay? I'm like,
Yes.
oh, yes,
I love it. I love it. And ama means amor, which is love.
love.
And that is the key ingredient to everything we put our heart into, right? Is that we do it
Absolutely.
with love, we do it with passion, with no real expectation or gain of our own, because that all falls into place when it's supposed to.
Hmm.
So I just have one thing to say about the receiving circle and being one of the participants actually receiving. So obviously we know some people's voices and things like that, and just a little visual of how that looks like. Basically, you are like center of whatever, a room, a park or something, right?
Hmm.
And someone comes behind you, you're just receiving, right?
Hmm.
And they are pouring into you what you either have done for them, just words of inspiration, whether a quote, whether how they feel, what they've seen in you in the journey. So for me, the experience was just absolutely beautiful. Like I was literally in tears, because there's some people that I have been in community with for quite some time, but I really never knew how they felt, because we just never had that conversation. And hearing those words, I just was like, if there was any doubt in my mind of me, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? That
Exactly.
receiving circle totally eliminated
Did it? Yeah.
my doubt. Right. So
Hmm.
that's just something so beautiful, something I will definitely adopt in the future at retreats, at events, because I think it's important for us. We're always giving the praises and the flowers
Yeah.
to other people. And sometimes we say we don't need it, we don't need that validation, but as humans, we need that.
We
We can
need,
be
yeah,
as proudful as we want, as prideful as we want.
absolutely.
We need people to pour into us to validate that we are on the right track. Now,
Hmm.
we have a choice. Do we accept it or do we not accept it? And it's all
Exactly.
up to you. So obviously you don't want opinions and feedback that's going to deteriorate
Hmm.
your mission, but when you're getting that praise, and I
Uplifting.
always tell
Yes.
everyone, if somebody tells you you're great, believe them.
Hmm.
Believe them. But thank you so much for bringing that up. Tell us a little bit about who Judith Diaz is, and who is Gigi. Talk to us about that.
Well, Judith Diaz is an entrepreneur, a certified life purpose coach. I am also a relationship facilitator. I'm a notary. I'm everything. I'm a lot of things. But Gigi is the child that went through the journey of healing. Gigi is the version of myself, my authentic self, right? Because when you have a business, and I know you can relate to this, when you have a business, there's a certain way that you have to carry yourself, and there's certain things. So that's Judith Diaz, that's the title. I say, that's the name behind it. But Gigi is the carefree person, authentic artist, funny, giving, um, not afraid to take chances. And that's my nickname. That's how I grew up. And as I was writing my book, Finding My Way Back to Gigi, it was important to emphasize Gigi, because that's what everybody I grew up listening, not Judith, but Gigi. So all my life experiences were under Gigi, not Judith. My professional life was always under Judith, but authentically who I am is Gigi. And Gigi was that girl that went through physical abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence, went through a lot of things, but didn't let that part of her life define who she is today. I took all that and turned it into something positive, into something resilient, and to say that I am not a victim, I'm a survivor and healed, and the importance of healing. I think that's what the book is about. Finding my way back to Gigi is I'm going to continue to find my way as I grow, as I evolve, as I become older and in different chapters in my life. I'm going to always find my way back to that version of myself because we're here to learn, right? Nobody's perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. All I'm looking for is life lessons and learn and getting to know different people. So that book talks about that. Talks about how I saw it doesn't matter what I was going through. I saw the beauty in things. And that's what kept that Gigi alive and not giving up on herself and not going into that depression or seeking drugs or seeking that alcohol that I already have as a history in my family. So I started just finding my way and finding that. And people like you and your mission and what you have, that's what we need because there those words kept me going and kept me going,
Mm,
you know. And one of the things that I think the most impactful thing that question that I was ever asked is who are you?
mm,
When I hit rock bottom because I lost my embryos because I went through IVF, and that's what the book is going to talk about. But I hit rock bottom. I was under on trigger warning, depression and suicidal thoughts,
mm,
and I went hit rock bottom. I remember my mom walking into my room after I didn't bathe like for 3 days, and she walked in and she just said, "Who are you? Like, who are you? Like, you're not Gigi, you're not my daughter. My daughter is a survivor. My daughter fights. My daughter, so who are you?" And she just left the room. And she just left me with them words. Who are you?
mm,
And I stood there at least 5 minutes, just kept repeating, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you, Gigi? Who are you? And I kept repeating it. Who are you? Until I actually clicked. Like, who are you? And I'm mad right now. And I kept saying that. And that's when the uplifting and that's where the tools came from being a life purpose coach. That's my passion. Because if you ask me, I've been there, I've done it, and I knew, and I was in that suicidal mentality. I had it planned. I saw myself. But I took myself out one day at a time. And that's why I always encourage affirmations are very important because even if you don't believe them at the moment, it will click. Like my mother said, "Who are you?" And I kept singing that and I kept saying that, just crying, mad at myself, like, "Who are you?" And my mom just like let her be. And just that. And I started blooming from there. One day at a time. It was probably one of the hardest things that
wow.
I've gone through and went through, but I am today, and that's what I utilize to go. That's why I have a coaching program that is called Your Growth Plan, and it's exactly that. I live that growth plan, and I feel that if that could work for me, it could work for someone, right?
Absolutely.
Coaches are not for everybody. I'm not everybody's coach, but if I can make a change in one person, that makes a difference. That to me is mind blowing. That to me, I could do that.
Absolutely. Wow, you gave me chills when your mom told you, like, who are you, right? And that's what kind of sparked, like, that's when you stood still
Mhm.
and you received that.
Mhm.
And now your challenge to yourself is answering that question.
Mhm.
And what that question is, it's not going to be an instant answer. It's going to be
Absolutely.
a battle of more questions, which, well, I don't know who I am, but who do I want to be?
Mhm.
How do I want to be looked at? How do I want to be perceived?
Mhm.
What do I want to leave behind? What is my purpose? How can I help? Like, those questions continue to come, and it's a lifelong journey. We don't get it instantly because
Mm-mm.
when we prepare an answer today and then we start taking action on that answer, we have
It
the
changes.
choice. We have the choice to say, hey, wait, I don't really like this. Let me try this. Oh, yeah, I like this. I'm going to add this. And then you learn and you grow. What were some of the challenges in the earlier stages before you got to that, when you were thinking about these thoughts? Like, what really were some of the things that triggered those thoughts besides, what you've been through? How were you feeling about yourself? Like, what did Gigi at the time
Hmm.
think she was? Like, what were you saying to yourself that wasn't those affirmations? That was the opposite of that.
It was, you've been through a lot. Like, you're done. Like, I was done. I was done trying. I was done trying to see the positive ways. I was done, you know, of a love from a male perspective should have been from my father. And that was an abusive relationship. That's what he did, and called me pigs in between because I used to urinate myself when he was hitting me. you know my uncle was supposed to be, a person to protect me, and he was the one that, sexually abused me. My grandma knew about it, never said anything. Like, so I was surrounded by people that were supposed to protect me and was supposed to uplift me
Mhm.
and guide that child, right, guide that Gigi to become. But no, I needed to do that for myself. I needed to learn how to cope with that. So I used to imagine Christmas. Christmas is my favorite season, but it's because it was my safe place, right? So at that moment when I hit rock bottom, when I become this adult, and I had fertility issues because I was born with an abnormal uterus, so I couldn't be a mother. So when I actually get to save all the money that I could to try a IVF procedure and it fails, I didn't lose 1, 2 embryos. I lost 10. And then you come back empty handed, you have nothing. So you start thinking in your right, like, so what can I offer a man, right? I can't have a family, I can't think. Well, that was the mentality back then, right? I can't. What can I offer a man? I can have kids, I can build my own family. you know Here I am, I don't have my father's love, my mother who was really absent in my life. So what else do I have? What else do I
Mhm.
have? Me? Who am I? What is me? I'm keep trying, and just life keeps, kicking me in my butt. Like, what else? I was just done. I was so tired.
Wow.
That's where their thoughts came from. I was just done. There was
Wow.
nothing, no hope in me. But when my mom went into that room, I mean, she didn't come nicely. She came in aggressively, like, who are you? Like, who? That was her expression. It wasn't like, just who are you? Like, who are you? It was like, wait a minute, she can't even recognize me. That's what clicked in my head. Like, what, she can't recognize me? I'm her daughter.
Mm.
But to me, it was like, wait a minute, who am I? I'm a different version now, you know, and I am. I'm a grieving version of myself. I'm grieving. So it was just that. And I started allowing myself to feel these emotions. It wasn't great. It didn't look great. I mean, it sounds great when I'm saying it, but it really didn't look great. And I started seeking healing. That was the key, healing. I didn't want to live. I didn't want to carry none of that anymore. I didn't want to remember that. And when I remember it, I want to remember it as something that I went through that made me stronger, not something that I'm a victim and it hurts me and I'm still crying over it. I didn't want that. And I started seeking that. And I started breaking cycles from my family. I started speaking the truth. I started holding people accountable. And that's how it started.
Wow.
Mhm.
Powerful. I'm literally in chills right now. Thank God I have a
Mm,
sweater on and I don't even have my fans on today. Um, oh my God, so much to kind of depict here. But
mm,
what I love that you said is that you didn't want, like, you made a decision to say, damn, I've been through some stuff,
mhm,
but this is going to be my comeback, my story to say, you know what? I did not give them the power to
mhm,
take Gigi away. I did not give them the power to take anything that I'm about to build. And I'm sure you didn't know what that even looked like or what you
mm-mm,
wanted. It was a work in progress. But You also talked about the infertility issues,
Mhm.
but you got a set of twins, right?
Yes, I do.
So talk to us
Okay.
about your babies and that blessing. And was that also another confirmation of I went and battled that fight head on and God blessed me? Tell us about that.
Well, okay. So after healing that, after going through therapy, after doing all that, I was in a space in my life where I was content. I didn't need to be a mom. I didn't need to be anything. And when they're a healed version of yourself, when you heal, there's a different version of yourself that you start seeing and start needing, or there are things that you don't need. You start living content and happy with what the universe or what God wants to bring into your life. And that's where I was. And I met my husband, my kids, my twins are adopted. And that's the best decision I ever made. Like, to be a mother, I didn't need to birth them. And I never in my head ever occurred that adoption was even an option, you know. But when I did it, I didn't even think about, oh, I want to be a mom. That wasn't, I didn't see it that way. I said, well, we want to build a family. I got married. So here's a big house. Here's a big home. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to help? Let's help. And that's the way my husband and I saw it. Let's help. And what way can we help? Okay, let's take the kids out of the foster home. Let's take that abuse, anything, any kid. So we didn't pick race, we didn't pick genders. It was what God in the universe was bringing to my life. What was meant to be, that's how we decided to receive it. And I did, but my husband had to stop me, because if it was me, I would take every kid. And he was like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute." There's a lot of kids that went through my house, and there's a lot of kids that I cried when they left. I was like, I suffered, but that's where the passion started receiving, and knowing that that healed version of myself can make a difference in someone else's life. And it just happened to be that our set of twins, we got to adopt them. We were fostering them and we got to adopt them. And now we dedicate everything, that healed version of Gigi, that healed version of my husband, we're making a difference. My daughter does affirmation at 4 years old. That's very important. The power of self love, the power of understanding and being in tune with your emotions. And I remember asking my mom, and I was like, "Mom, what was it mothership for you? Like, mothership?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, it was great." And I looked at her and I said, "This is the hardest thing I've done. What you mean that was great for you?" But I could understand it too. I could understand because she was absent. It was not, that was, she took the easy road. But to me, it's my hardest job. It's my number one priority, regardless of if I'm an entrepreneur, regardless of what I do, they're my number one. And I'm blessed and gifted to know and understand what a mother love looked like. That is my biggest privilege, to know that you can love a individual human being this way, because it's different. You can love your mom, you can love anybody, you can love your husband, but when you love a child, that it's yours, it's a different kind of love. It's a an unconditional love. It's I put you first kind of love. It's things that you didn't even feel for yourself, and you're starting to experience these emotions like, "Oh my God." So it says, so yeah, I'm blessed.
I can 100% relate. I also had issues getting pregnant as well, and I call my son my miracle baby. And he's 18 now, and that connection to a mom and a child, it's undescribable. Like we say, okay, we love our kids, but when you put that into context and you see the the delivery back and forth and how we interact with them and
Mhm.
how they respond to us and how they look up to us and they're watching. Our kids are
Everything.
watching. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm just so happy for you that you never gave up on the vision and you said, okay, well, um how can my, I'm not going to say mess because I don't think it's a mess. How can my heartache, right? What I'm lacking in some place, how can I fill that? And how can I give back as well? You know, having an absent mom, you now want to be present for your
Oh,
children. And you're
absolutely.
like 100%
Oh,
on,
absolutely.
right? So
Hands
it's like
on.
that's what we have to do when we are in a lifestyle that, or that we grown up in a lifestyle that we didn't want, like we see what we liked and what we didn't like, what we're gonna bring as our core
Mhm.
values and what we're gonna let go. So for me, I had great parents. I, have been fortunate to have three dads in my life. You know, my biological dad, my two stepdads. One of them was the adopted dad that gave me his last name. So a lot of people talk about my story. Like, that's so weird. Like, how did that happen? But that's for another podcast. um, but none of them, passed over 12th grade. I think my mom was the only one that graduated from high school. But she didn't go like straight to college. They didn't have that sense of entrepreneurship, that things were
Mhm.
possible beyond just going to school, getting a job, paying your bills, and just existing, providing for your family. It just kind of ended there.
Mhm.
And us as children living in these different type of environments, whether through abuse, through whatever, we have to understand that we still can rise above anything, right? So
Anything.
that's where generational curses are broken. You
Mhm.
look at what your lifestyle was and you say, okay, well, what don't I want for my future? And then you live by those values, and they're going to change up and down. There are going to be some gray areas and all that stuff. But I love what you did. And that I will call, like, you took the mess, the crap that you've been through
Mhm.
that we never wish that upon, not even our worst enemies, but we took that and you created that message for
Mhm.
yourself and how you are going to um move forward. And in your life coaching, in your teaching, you can relate, right?
Mhm.
So we all have choices. That's really what the main thing is. It's Ugh, it I don't know. Like, I get speechless when it comes to this topic because there's so many resources out there. Do we really want them? We have to
Mhm.
really ask ourselves, like, what do we really want? And I love that you ask yourself those questions. We are going to take a quick break, listen to our sponsors. We're going to talk about your coaching, how people could get a hold of you, and just some amazing things that you're doing. So give me 1 second. We'll be right back. Let's listen to our sponsors.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JASCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Hello, everyone. We are back with Judith Diaz, and she is the author of Finding My Way Back to Gigi. She just shared some amazing things about her journey, good, bad, and the ugly. And that's what we're here to do, to share that. I bring on entrepreneurs here and we highlight them and their growth and the success, but no one ever really knows how we got there and what we
Mhm.
had to do to get there. They don't really know that inner side of our story, which that's what I love to highlight here because that changes the perspective. It really gears people that are living in these types of stories how they can get out of them.
Mhm.
And with that, I always promote that if you're looking to get into the space, you need a coach. You can't just go into a business
Yeah.
without knowing the coaches. I mean, I started I started back in 2015, and I've done it myself for the whole time. And it took me a long time because of the mindset that I had. I stuck at my 9 to 5 thinking I could build
Mhm.
this out separately. And though there's people that have, I'm not going to say that there haven't,
Mhm.
but I wasn't disciplined without actually until I reached and got my coach. And that's really what propelled me. But I did not read in your bio, but I do have it here. And I did it very purposeful because you have something new coming out, and you are or you have developed a life coach workbook titled Your Growth Plan.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
That's coming out in 2024. So you and I know what a life coach is, right? And what a coach, it holds you accountable. But I specifically created this because in our Latina community, in our culture, we do everything in the back, right? It's very hard to get a Latino to just open up and come on and get it. So I wanted to create something that it's a book that they could take home and you could do your coaching. And it's not about just how they're going to do their coaching, it's the question that are asked. Because all you need is the right questions. I believe that everyone has the answer within themselves, like I did. I know I did, So I believe it's just that right question, holding you accountable to your own answers because they're going to be your answers only. It's you with you. And that's the biggest challenge. That's the biggest challenge you're going to ever find in your life. You think that people hurting you or people doing this. No, you with you are going to be the most challenging thing you're going to do in your life is get to know who you are.
Mm,
And that's what the book, your growth plan workbook consists of. It's going to be in Spanish and English, so they could buy it. And it's a book that you could do over and over again. You could revisit it 6 months later, a year later, and you're going to see how every answer is going to change depending on your growth, depending on that. And it's just this program, and it consists of 10 programs. It's knowing who you are, finding and understanding what you want, setting healthy boundaries, working on self esteem, breaking negative habits, learning how to express yourself. That's a big one for me.
mm,
And healing your past, letting things go that hold you back. Where do you begin? And let's just talk.
mm. I love that. I
Okay.
love that. Can you elaborate on the let's just talk real quick? Because are you just talking to yourself about it, or is that when the coaching program comes in with you?
Well, when you finish the coaching program, the workbook, when you finish those 9 programs, now you could talk. Now you're going to feel the confident. You're going to feel the emotions to be able to talk to anyone, to
Mm,
talk freely about what you're going through, to talk freely about, because that's the whole point, that
mm,
Latino community. That's why I targeted that they don't talk. It's easier for us to keep things in and keep them balled in because they're safe, right? We feel that they're safe, but they're not safe. They're actually harming us, doing more harm than good,
yes.
and that's what the workbook helps you work through, that. So the last one is let's just talk. So exactly. So you're going to just talk. Tell your story. Your story is important. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this version of yourself that grew after this workbook, because that's the version that the people need to see, that is going to inspire, that is going to impact, that is going to make a difference.
Absolutely, 100%. I love it. Definitely keep us posted when it's going to come out. How can we get a hold of it? We'll put it in your show notes. Then I would love you back to talk about it once you get some people through that program. I think it's absolutely beautiful when life coaches are really paying attention and really finding new and innovative ways for us to break those cycles, to break those
Yeah.
limiting beliefs. And I love you. You said it spot on. It's you against you. You
Yeah.
have to accept the fact that you did not make a decision, or the decision you made was because maybe you weren't educated on that particular
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. Maybe you're not putting yourself out there enough for people to see you. Because I get a lot of, I'm posting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And, I just don't see anybody catching on to it. And I just have to say, your biggest followers are your silent followers.
Mm-hmm.
And
They
a
are. They're
huge,
watching.
they are watching, and
Mm-hmm.
they're going to continue watching
Mm-hmm.
until that story or that accomplishment, whatever it is, it can be something. Okay, well, yeah, you spoke on a stage, you won an award. Okay. But when someone else shares their testimony about how you change your
Mm-hmm.
life, that's when they're going to come in and say, hey, I've been watching you. I would love to have a conversation. So just keep
Absolutely.
doing it. That's the
Yes.
whole point,
Yes.
taking the action, staying consistent. And I'm a walking testimony on that because she's an amazing, amazing individual. Knew her when I was in high school. For a year and a half, she had been watching me and what I've been doing with Ama, my book, my podcast, and stuff like that. And for whatever reason, she loved it from afar.
Mm-hmm.
She's been watching, right? But then in January of this year, she finally said, hey, congratulations on your new book. I've been watching you for a year. I didn't know that because I didn't see a like, a love,
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. And I was like this close to saying, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I love that you put that out there about, it's you against you. We
Yeah.
can only blame ourselves for what we didn't or what we did do, but we
Mm-hmm.
can also celebrate what we did do too. And
Yes.
that's the whole
Yes.
goal. We want to
Yes.
celebrate. We want to take action. And I love that you are your mindset and your leadership towards helping other people really find themselves and live a purposeful life, because that's what we're here for, right? What
Mm-hmm.
is your take?
Yes.
What is your take on coaching? Do you have a coach? How many coaches have you had? And what is your biggest reason for being a coach, like your biggest accomplishment as a coach, like maybe without giving confidentiality and who your client is, your biggest success story?
Okay. I've had one life coach and also therapy. I did inner child healing. But I had one life coach in my life, and she's amazing. She passed, but she was amazing, and she was also my best friend. So her name is Rachel, and and she was the inspiration. She's the one who kept me on my toes, She's the one who holds me accountable and and hold me to what I thought or I wanted to do, right? She that the hardest part is holding yourself accountable to things, because we as entrepreneurs, you have so many ideas, right? But putting them in place and sticking to them, it's one thing, because today I might feel, I'm great, I got this, then tomorrow it's like, I don't know if I got it. No, you do. You do have it. You do have it. What changed between that yesterday and today? And that was kind of that coaching stuff that she did. It was amazing. She definitely hold me accountable. I will forever be thankful for that. Um I coach people from 16 to 82. The oldest has been 82 years old.
Wow.
And and the biggest take that I've gotten, or the biggest feedback, is, you're in my head. You're in my head. That to me was mind blowing, because they're doing the work. I give them the credit. I'm just asking the right questions. That's all I'm doing, and I'm coaching you through it. Well, how did that feel? But they're doing the work. And that's the people that I highlight. It's them. But what if I could tell you a story, was the biggest thing was that someone said, you're in my head. I was at work, and this person and came, and she was getting, she was just a trigger, and I could hear you in my head. Why is she a trigger? With this calm voice, like, why is this person a trigger? Why did this? And she was like, and you was in my head, and I was able to talk my anxiety just down, just by asking the questions that you were asking me. And I were able to write them down, and I went through that. And she's like, we're a lifetime partner. And I tell people, I mean, what I see her now once a month, because she doesn't need that coaching, but she wants to just always come in, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and just able, and the biggest feedback is saying, I've gone through therapy. I've gone through everything I needed to go through. I just didn't know where to begin. And you did that for me. Like
Mhm.
you just helped me organize my life and then hold me accountable to that, because I don't coach you. I'm on top of you. I'm following up. We're following up.
Yeah.
We're, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? Okay, you don't feel, I don't feel like doing it today. Well, that's okay. Okay. But what got you in that mindset is the question. What got you in that mindset? Someone did. So if someone got you in that mindset, do we need to set boundaries? Do we need to, I mean, it goes in, I go
Mhm.
in.
Yeah.
So, but the biggest intake was say that you're in my head. I mean, that was the biggest feedback for me. I'm in somebody's head.
I love that. I
Yeah.
can actually relate. And I don't know if she said those exact words, but the same person I was talking about, I had did a training in my Ladies of Leadership program, and we were talking about like our worth. What is our
Mhm.
worth? And we mess with some numbers and what we wanted to make, and how much time are we putting into it, what things to factor in. And I think she was doing something for her family, and then they actually were in conversation of what her pricing is going to be, because they were renewing the process. School
Mhm.
was about to start, and she was able to be confident enough to say, you know what, I am worth this much. And she's
Mhm.
like, she sent me a text message. She's like, Nikki, oh my God, like I love that training yesterday. Like you really inspired me to take action and not, belittle, what I have to
Mhm.
offer and all this stuff. So I can 100% relate. And that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what coaches do. We're really there. And I love that you said that this is for the long haul. Like this is a lifelong
Yeah.
um relationship, because that's what I'm about. I tell everyone who I connect with, like we're attached at the hip now. Whether I'm your coach or not, or just because we made that connection
Mhm.
and I have that synergy with you and I have that alignment. Maybe we're not working together today, but I know we're going to be doing something together in the futures. And that's what I'm
Absolutely.
looking for, right?
Yeah.
So you want to build those type of relationships. Those are the most important ones, right?
Yes.
The ones that that you can serve and they can serve you back, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's a win-win for everyone.
Everybody.
And I just love everything that you're doing. What do you have anything coming up? Any programs? How can people get a hold of you?
Well, they could always visit my website at www.sayitoutloudgg.com. And pretty much I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. I'm on every social media you could probably. And usually it's Say It Out Loud GG. That's the name under that. And I am, well, besides finding my way back to Gigi, that's launching with Ama on January 2024. The workbook, which I'll have a later date set. And the book is coming out in Spanish and English. They're both the workbook and my book, Finding My Way Back to Gigi. I'm also working with the youth that has been physically or sexually abused. That's an honor for me to do with Community Brings Learning. That's in Camden. So that's a big project that I'm doing, and I'm passionate about it. And I am like 110% let's go, and bringing some coaching services, on how to, deal with their emotions, as that Gigi was there. So, and that's a big mission. And there's a lot of things that I would like to say, but everything in their due time, right?
Yeah,
Because I
no,
get so
absolutely.
excited and I have to learn how to, because catch
This is
me
your
4
platform.
months ago, I was like, spelling everything out instead of
Yes, well, this is your time to shine. We definitely want to
yeah.
make sure that people know. But you know what? Just connect with her and find all the details. And let me
Yeah.
just say that Gigi is Jiji, right?
J-I-J-I. Yeah.
Jiji, because I would have spelled it Gigi.
G-I,
I'm just being
yes.
honest.
Yes, because when you read it, it reads hee hee,
Right?
hee hee, but that's the
Yeah.
way they spelled it. So that's the way it stood. And I'm like, okay.
Yes,
And in
yes,
my child somewhere in there, I wrote it that way, and that's where it stuck. Hey, I
yes,
always say if blue heals you, then it's blue. Blue it is. It
yes.
doesn't have to be anything to nobody but yourself. and that's very important. You grab onto whatever works for you because it's your life you're living. Always remember that. It's your life, it's your journey. Nobody could tell you how to do it. We could just give you tools, but what you feel is what you feel. And what you don't want is what you don't want. Everything is going to always be about you. It's your life. And that's your biggest achievement, getting to know who you are.
Yeah. And talk to us. I'm going to talk to us about those that are really struggling and believing that they have just wasted time, and it being or not being too late to start all over, and how that looks like for them. What are your thoughts on that?
There's no such thing as wasted time. There's no such thing. There's lesson learned. What you didn't know. That's all it is. There's no age for learning. We're going to learn until the day we die. That's just it. That's just the law of life. We don't brush our teeth the same way we brushed it yesterday. That's a change. People think that people have the concept that change has to be big and drastic. And it doesn't. Change could start as little as a grain of salt, and it's still a change. It's the way we see things. It's the way you're going to see things. You're going to see your life the way you want to see your life. There's no age to change it. What is age but a number? Because I know that I'm in my 40s, and in my head I feel like I'm 15. So what are you going to do with that energy inside of you that it's 15? Let's go. Let's do it at your pace, at your time. Change doesn't have to be at any coach's pace, at anybody that is a therapist. It doesn't matter who you're seeing or what changes you want or what you think, oh, I have to change because I'm getting older. No, it doesn't. We're going to change regardless. That's going to happen naturally, So what is your pace? That's the key. What is your pace? How do you want to do it? If you did something or you changed something that you didn't like, that's a change. That's a step. You're doing it. You're doing it. That's it. That's all it takes. That little step, and nobody's going to ever believe in you like you're going to believe in yourself. Remember that you're feeling those emotions. You're going through that hardship. You're going through all that. So you're already doing it. You are already doing it. That's it. That's all you needed. Now, look for it. I offer always a hour free coaching for anyone who needs it. Anyone who's struggling or wanting to give up or they can't do it. I always say it out loud, Gigi, is there. That's it. You're doing it. Pick up that phone. Look in that internet. Make that phone call, whether it's to a friend, to a mom, to anybody, because you do matter and you're here for a reason. You are here for a reason. You're important. Remember that. That's what I was saying.
Oh my God, mic drop. I loved it. And it's so funny because I actually just posted something about that yesterday, because we got some news. I told you a little bit before the podcast what my family had went through, what news we had just received. And my dad was nervous, so I had to take him to do some groceries, kind of do some errands because he couldn't drive. So I just snapped a picture of them and then snapped a picture of myself and just said, even through the toughest times, we still have to smile. And I think I put like a call to action, like take that first step today. Call someone, tell them that you love them. Call someone, tell them that you forgive them. Call someone and tell them that they've been on your mind. That goes such a long way to your own healing and your own journey so that you can move forward. So beautifully said. Pick up that phone, call her, message her, DM her, Judith Diaz, Gigi, whatever you want to call her. She is there for you. I absolutely love what you're doing, girl. Keep doing it. And thank you again. I have to publicly say thank you for supporting and sharing Bomb and our and what we have going on. I've been seeing your shares, and that's what it's about. It's about
absolutely, yeah.
It's just
uplifting.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Uplifting one another. It's no, say it out loud, Gigi has no competition with no one. Been there, done
Yes.
that.
We only
I'm here.
compete against
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah, yeah. I'm my worst competition. Besides that, just join in. Come on, let's go. Let's do it.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely. Let's lock arms. Let's walk side by side together and just
absolutely.
continue to empower our world. We need to make some drastic changes. And if we can do that one person at a time, we are here. Judith, you have been absolutely amazing. I will just stay connected. Again, we're attached at the hip. Just know
Yes.
that. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. This has been absolutely phenomenal. She has dropped some gems here. You might want to go back and rehear it again or rewatch it a couple times. Get your pen and papers and some notes and just ask yourself, who are you? And get those answered and then connect with her and then we'll make some things happen. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Have a great day. And as I always say, make it count.